Greetings, this is Juno. Welcome back to more Trials of the Mana. In the last one, we finally made it back to Valsana after all the detours. Anyway, King, where's the other freaking Mana Spirits? Probably, my best guess is that he was trying to figure out where the other ones were at. Then again, some of them are pretty obvious. Some of them are, I'm just surprised that he actually will know, some of them I'm surprised they would actually know where they would be at. We be back.
You have returned safely. That is fortunate. I see you have located 4 of the 8 elementals. Light, earth,
I mean, we already had 2 of them
darkness.
to begin with when we first met you.
To find. You are halfway to your goal.
Halfway there.
The Waterstone is in Altena's territory.
I mean,
Its
that's really not surprising
Undine
because they
can be found
literally
to the
live
south
in
of
the
Frostbite
Arctic.
Fields in the Labyrinth of Ice. However, I have heard that Altena has already activated
I mean,
the Waterstone's
that's also
energy.
not surprising that they
Please,
activated it because
care.
they are trying to get into
To the
the
south of the
Mana
Burning
Sanctuary.
Sands is a treacherous place known
Yeah,
as
that one's near
Fiery
Navarro.
Gorge.
You have to
Firestone
traverse the
and
desert
its
to get
keeper,
that.
Salamando, can be found there. Southeast of here is the sprawling Dusk Moon.
Now these
Forest,
last 2,
home of the
I'm not
Beast
surprised
Men.
that he doesn't
I have heard
entirely
the
know,
Moonstone
because I feel
lies
like
within
the
its
last 2
borders,
are like the most secluded
but I know nothing
in the
more.
world, other than like maybe the
Beware Beast
Darkstone,
Men's strength.
because no one freaking knows where the Darkstone is,
It would do you well to change your class
even before it disappeared from the world.
Attempt to cross into their land.
I already changed classes.
The Woodstone is said
You
to
should
be
be level
the
18
woods
by the time
wanderer. Dryad,
you hit the
stone's
Windstone.
elemental, should be located nearby. However,
I feel like you would have to
cannot reach
like
that forest via
feel
a
like you
land
would have
route.
to
South of the
run
woods of
from a
Wanderer
lot of fights
is
to
Lambloom Woods.
not just
The
be
elfin
18
settlement
right
of
now
Dior
here in this
and
version of
all
the game.
its secrets lie within. If you ask
I
the
don't
elves,
know. I don't
they
know
may
how he
have some
knows about
advice
this
for you.
stone, because even elves don't like humans.
You
So
appear to have received help from Vuskov, ruler of the seas, to escape Buka Island.
maybe there's some
I
ancient
assume
tome
it
or
is
something
because
that he
You
studied.
were chosen by fairy.
I mean, is
Here in
Vuskov
Valsana, we have a fruit
that kind
that
of
has the
like
power to
guardian,
summon
to,
Vuskov. However,
like a fairy or
because the
her
creature is
equivalent?
not
Maybe not fairy, but like
fond
a
of
equivalent guardian
humankind,
of the world.
we sealed it away. If Vuskov has accepted you, you can use
So you probably
the
just put
fruit
it
to
in the
summon
storage
creature
room.
by playing it on any sandy beach in the world. Vuskov.
Yeah, now we
will
have
come
Vuskov
to you.
as our water
with you,
transport.
with
Now we don't
my
have to pay
blessing.
for being ferried across the world. We were told about we were told about 4 of the Mana Stones, but we can only go to 1 of 2 at the moment. The Moon and the Moon and Wood Stone are both inaccessible to us right now. So you could either go for Undine or Salamandos right now. We're gonna go for not Salamandos, Undine. I keep on fucking up right now and saying crap. That's because the area enemies tend to be, for Undine, tend to be easier, both in level and kind of their difficulty anyway. Anyway, we're off blasting off again. Going back to Maya. Good old canon travel. But before we actually go off into before we go off to get the last 4 Mana Stones, we're going to make a quick pit stop at Byzer. Well, we're gonna get a few things, but there's also someone for us to talk to now that we escape Buka Island, and I'll save that when we get there. But since we have went through this path so many times, time to fast forward. We're not wasting time. Gotta go fast. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, we've went through this road like at least 3-4 times now. Yeah, you have to go through this road a lot too in the original version of the game as well. Anyway, we have what is it, Melchirio? This guy, the guy that we saved from the ghost ship. And we get the ability more encounters. It does what you think it does. I will not be
Welcome.
it will not be useful for me in this
Good choice. You come again.
in this
Good choice. You
well
come again.
during like the base game. It might be more useful for like the post game when you're farming, if you want to farm for the ultimate
You
gear.
come again.
I'm picking up a few items. The main important one I'm picking up is the main item that I picked up was the siren claws. We're gonna need that for a future boss. Oh, it looks like I missed an item. Was that not? I'm wondering if that was on my map. I don't remember if it was on my map or not. Well, anyway, there's another item. I don't know, I'm not too worried about like missing on my maps. I'm not as worried about missing like little item spots like that, as long as I've gotten most of them. The more important thing about getting on my map, also time to summon Vuskov, would be treasure and chain abilities. And little cactus. There's that derpy turtle. Even though he's a turtle, as you're going to see, he sure as heck can haul ass. We're gonna also stop by here in the Oblivile, however you say it. I'll just call it Isle Oblivion, because that's what it was called. I'm pretty sure it was called in Japanese or whatever. Or at least that's what I remember it being translated as from the fan translation of the original version of the game. There's not too much reason for us to go here right now, but it was right next to Maya.
There's nothing we can do here for now. Let's come back once we have all 8 elementals on our side.
Oh, we're just gonna collect crap right now. Yeah, I just want to get this area. It's real quick. Pick up a few things. Not to mention we're gonna get little cactus. Yeah, we probably by the time we finish the Dusk Moon Forest, we should be able to get the if you've collected all the little cactus, you would get the upgrade to the Bizer items, and that actually adds a few more of the claws, and especially the moon claw, the moon saber item. Which moon saber is probably one of the best items, because if granted it doesn't like every time you hit an enemy when you have moon saber on, you heal. And then there's also Leaf Saber, which is kind of like Moon Saber, but with MP instead of HP. But the Moon Saber tends to be very good for even if the enemy isn't weak to Moon, which obviously only wood enemies would be weak to Moon. It's still a pretty good item to use even against opponents that aren't strong against Moon, or As long as they don't absorb moon elemental is basically what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm spraying. Anyway, we're back in, well, Angela's back in Allrond. And if you played Angela's Path, obviously this area and then a part of the Frostbite fields would already have the items collected, but obviously we didn't.
Or is it just me?
So we're going here to
Training
collect.
ought to help me stand this cold. Come on. I can't wait to see what monsters cross our path.
And I don't even know why they decided to make. I'm wondering what it would be like for the first people who settled here. They're like, yeah, screw it. We're mages. We can turn this part of the world into normal or normal grass or whatever. I wonder how far the area was that it stayed warm when mana power wasn't nearly depleted.
Well, lots of wares to browse. Oh, good choice. It's good quality.
I'm gonna skip getting the shield since we're low on money. The shields are not very important. See, and then get the armor for you.
This is useful.
And make sure to sell off old stuff. Keep up on our money economy. Our equipment economy, basically. Open this up. Oh, chocolates. And item seed. Anyway, right over here, another cactus. See, how close are we? Yeah, we're pretty close to our next one, which is half the escape time to the retreating time for battles, which is pretty useful, especially if you want to skip over a lot of things. Now up here, you would get the if you had Angela as your main character, you'd get the chain ability kindness from the little girl that lives here, but they're not there if you don't have Angela as your main. That's the only chain ability that you have to have someone as your main character to get. And obviously it's not that, it's okay, but it's not that great of an ability. Not really worth keeping, well, using above pretty much any other ability that anyone would get. Anyway, let's plant a few more seeds so we can level up our pot. Wonderful pot. Will you level? Level 3. Let's see. Well, I think I'll start replacing. And might as well give you that. So we can have better stuff on ya.
Welcome.
Seed of the day.
Welcome.
Okay, I'm not sure what the next day period is. Okay, it's the same. I wanted to make sure, since we were getting close, I think we were getting close to what the next day was. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be like Undyne's Day or whatever. I'll be careful about that. No, actually, no, I wanted to make sure it wasn't Gnome's Day. I wanted to make sure it wasn't Gnome's Day. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't Undyne's Day. Frostbite Fields. A winter wonderland out there. Anyway, onwards to...
probably just past these fields.
I was
Fields
hoping
of
to see them,
whole
but
bunch
this
of
is
ice here
still
too.
cold for me. Let's hurry up.
I feel like you've been pretty pampered, stuck in the being in the
Keep tracking.
being in the castle area, so I'm sure it was a lot warmer in there.
It is unwise to get in our way.
Crosscut.
And again, how long has mana been depleting? I think it was probably depleting ever since the war 10 years ago.
I hope no guards.
I think that's the idea. Another cactus. Anyway, let's go down here. Yeah, another map I cut up to view it better. It was kind of annoying to make these maps sometimes too. Like in game, like I have like a ability to, like one of my screen recorders has how I made them. I might as well tell you this. I have a screen recorder that that can take pictures.
It is unwise.
I'm sure like I could do something like screen cap or something, but I'll just use a screen recorder I already have. But some of the maps don't show, like you can't zoom out far enough to like take a picture.
Let's get moving.
To take a picture of the entire map, and so what I had to do was I had to take pictures of multiple parts of the map, and then I had to go into my photo editor, and had to make the, like, open up one of the maps, and then I would insert one of the other parts of the map into the editing.
No guards show up while we're
And like
searching.
I had to basically like make it transparent so I could like actually overlay the map correctly, so I don't. That's why some of the maps look that way, where portions of that are not a part of the map or whatever, the like little gray tan parts are different colors, because they're literally different parts of the accent parts of the map. Jeez, they keep on throwing a whole bunch of spells at me. So I definitely prefer to face these guys than some of the enemies in the desert. Actually, when I first played this version, I actually went to the desert first, which was kind of a mistake because the enemies are a little higher than here. More. I dang it, Yoshi knockoff, spit me out. The enemies were, like, I was thinking that the enemies would be the same level or whatever, like they did. I think it was the enemies would be the same level depending on which one you picked or whatever. And then whichever one you didn't pick, whichever one you go to second had higher enemies after that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they did. I think that's what they did. I don't know. I usually, in the original version of the game, I usually go after the, I usually go for Salamandos first. But, not in this version. For some reason they decided not to do that in this version. You just have the enemies in this area be weaker, and then the enemies in the desert. I mean, later on they do level scaling, but not here. Oh well, it's not that important. I think these seahorses can poison you? Maybe I'm wrong.
With this strength,
Probably not, actually. I don't think I don't really remember being poisoned by them. Let's keep increasing that, because I'm going to at least get the healing spell for him. I think, like I said, once I get the healing spell, I'm never going to invest any more into Spirit. Yeah, let's get the lucent beam finally. I mean, for now, lucid beam's not gonna be. I mean, lucid beam's gonna be fine against some of the enemies. But it's not gonna be super strong against a lot of enemies right now. They're not a lot of enemies are gonna be weak to it for a little while. Anyway, more of these lizardons or whatever, or lizards. They keep on wanting to they want to eat me. They want a taste of me. Get you out. That happens sometimes where like the death animation is longer than you think, and so I'm like literally about to escape, accidentally like leave the area before the guy's death animation is done with. Go up a little bit. But actually in the original version of the game, this would be right around where your first class change would usually be. I do like that you're actually like you change your class kind of. I do like that you change your class sooner because it does. You would mainly use your class 2 for like the majority of the game. I mean, I guess in some ways you do as well in this version of the game, but like you get your class because you get your class 2 sooner, you also get your class you can get your class 3 sooner. So class 3 is a little bit more difficult to get because we're going to need some specific items to class change. Once after we get to 38. But yeah, it feels like the different classes tend to be a little bit more utilized compared to the original version. Though they can actually have that problem with class 4 in the post game, where like you can only be class 4 in the post game, which is kind of annoying. And the post game isn't very long. Most of the post game is getting class 4 and then doing one dungeon, and that's it. And again, I guess that's how like Dragon Quest is or whatever. Well, maybe not the changing classes thing, but like having like 1 or 2 dungeons. But anyway, I'm gonna end it off here. So this has been Juno. See you guys next time. Bye bye.